Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hair and Horror. I'm going to be installing this wig here, and the case that I'm covering is in regards to Saul Murray. Let's get into it. Saul Murray lived in Sutton, UK, and was the type of man that enjoyed posting photos, dressing nicely, and often flashing jewelry. Unfortunately, this would be one of the things that would attract a devious group of people who would set out to take anything they could get from him and would find out later that it would all be for nothing. One day, Saul took to Instagram posting 2 Rolex watches on one arm, which caught the attention of a woman named Saul Dillon. She would end up reaching out to Saul on Instagram, and the two would begin talking. Saul would be very flirtatious, leading them to exchanging numbers, as well as continuing conversations on Instagram from time to time. What Saul didn't know was the whole time they were talking, Saul's intentions were not sincere at all, and that it was all a ploy to make him feel comfortable talking to her in order to gain trust. It wasn't long before the two decided they wanted to hang out with each other, and Saul would be invited to Saul's flat. In addition to Saul coming to see him, she told Saul that she would be inviting her friend Timoteo All to tag along as well. At that time, Saul didn't see a problem with it, and the plans were set in stone. However, Saul wouldn't just be bringing a +1, more like a +3, and none of them were interested in having a good time or enjoying Saul's company. Saul, her friend Timoteo, and 2 men would devise a plan that would end up having a few hiccups later on down the road. One of the uninvited men would rent a Mercedes A-Class the day they were to meet up with Saul, and all 4 of them would be on their way from East London to Sutton, taking the almost hour drive. CCTV footage shows the arrival of the 2 women outside where they met Saul, while the 2 men they were with would go to McDonald's waiting for the 2 women to be done. Saul would then usher the 2 women into the building entrance through a door that could only be opened by residents and would lock automatically once inside. When they made it to his flat, the 3 of them would have a drink before engaging in sexual activity. However, Saul had no idea that one of the women spiked a drink she served him with GHB, hoping to knock him out so that they could rob him. When she realized the dose she gave him wasn't strong enough to do the job, the 2 women knew they had to deviate from the initial plan, and that was when they called in the 2 men who were waiting on them to come out with the stolen goods. Hours later, Timoteo managed to leave Saul's flat to meet the 2 men outside. While waiting for them to get there from where they were hiding out, it is believed that she texted Saul telling her to make sure she could get back inside. Reason being, shortly after doing so, Saul also managed to leave Saul's flat for a brief moment, making her way back to the door and placing a broom in between the door in order to prop it open so that it would not lock. Footage then shows Timoteo walking back into the building entrance, heading back up to Saul's flat, and then behind her, the 2 uninvited men. About 20 minutes after the men arrived, the 2 women could be seen leaving the flat in a hurry, and seconds after them, the 2 men would also be running out as well. CCTV footage managed to catch one of the men that were running holding a large knife as he exited the building. 20 minutes later, the same footage would also reveal something even more devastating. Saul was seen running naked toward the door, to which he opened it and was visibly bleeding heavily before losing his balance and not getting back up. Hours later, Saul would be found lying in a pool of his own blood. Shortly after police arrived at the scene, it was clear that there was nothing they could do and that he was already gone. The autopsy report revealed that Saul died due to blood loss after he was stabbed very deep in his thigh, piercing his femoral artery, which caused him to bleed out. Police were able to track down Saul due to her Instagram messages with Saul and Timoteo from her social media accounts as well. Once they had to start with those 2 women, they knew they needed to find the 2 men that were there with them that night. Police managed to find one of the men, Ikem Afia, based off the coat he was wearing at the time of the murder. Only 69 of those coats had been sold in the UK at that time, so when CCTV footage at KFC showed Ikem wearing the same coat as seen in the video, police believed to have found the right man. Supporting that evidence, the KFC video also shows that he was accompanied by Cleon Brown, the other suspected man in the murder. Police would also later find out that Cleon was the renter of the Mercedes used in the getaway, and they managed to track down that vehicle at KFC that day. Meanwhile, Saprit is admitting to a lot more than just the events that had recently taken place. She also admitted to running the same scam on at least 6 other men in the time span of 4 months. She also stated that her friend Timoteo had participated in these scams at least 4 times. Going further, she told police they like to seduce men, drug them, and then steal whatever they could find, mainly watches and jewelry. Only this time, being that the drugs were not strong enough to knock Saul out completely, things took a turn for the worse. However, Timoteo, who was found to be a student at a university, would try to convince police that she didn't know anything about the individual or his murder.
Honestly, I'm traumatized that I'm here, that I'm linked to any type of murder.
Yeah.
I don't know the poor soul, and I'm very gutted that he did. Honestly, I didn't murder him. I didn't harm him in any type of way. I'm honestly just an undergraduate student.
One of the worst parts about the whole ordeal was that the watches that the group of thieves expected to provide a big payout were fake. The Rolex watches that Saul was sporting that first caught Saprit's attention were indeed fake. Adding insult to injury, Saul hardly had anything in his flat, being that he had just moved in, and he actually didn't own any expensive possessions, making the entire plan a fail, taking Saul's life for merely costume jewelry. On a recorded call, Saprit could be heard making promises to her son that she would be home soon and not to believe the rumors he was hearing.
Hi. Oh, I'm still here. I've got to sort some stuff out with him, so I'm not going to be home for like a couple of weeks. I love you. Yeah, I'm going to sort it out so then I can come home, okay? I've just got to help them with some stuff. No, they got that wrong. I'm helping them with it. Yeah, I'm just helping them. That's not true, okay? Okay, that's what they come because they got it all mixed up. But I'm gonna sort it out with them, okay?
On Timoteo's recorded call, she broke down in tears, stating that she was going to disappoint her mother.
You're going to sit down. Yeah, take back to your cell. Right, thank you.
At the end of the hearing, all 4 of those involved were charged with manslaughter and for their part in conspiring to rob. Timoteo, who seduced and tricked Saul alongside Saprit, received 7 years in prison. Cleon, who accompanied Ikim and purchased the rental car, received 11 years. Saprit, one of the main masterminds behind the whole scheme and who was the first point of contact with Saul, received 10 years. And lastly, Ikim, who was bold enough to take someone's life over what ended up being fake jewelry and who police later found was the suspect seen brandishing the murder weapon, received life in prison with a minimum of 25 years. When given the opportunity to speak during the victim statement, Saul's father was completely devastated and said that Saul was such a great son and that unfortunately the video of his son collapsing to his death is the last thing he thinks about before going to bed and the first thing he thinks about when he wakes up. My condolences to the family and the loved ones of Saul Murray. May he rest in peace. Social media platforms are a great place to meet new people and makes the world a little smaller, connecting you with people from all over the world. However, it is crucial that you take careful consideration as to who you're speaking with and always make clear on their intentions, as some people are truly evil. With that being said, this is the final look. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and any other cases that you would like for me to cover, and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!